Okay, so I'm recording now, so now we can actually have, I'll edit out all the goober stuff later. Only the good stuff will go online, but
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks, man, for figuring that out. I was gonna do some type of screen record thing with my Camtasia software with the video off, and I was like, nah, it's my machine's gonna overheat and run out of hard drive space in the first 30 minutes. So,
I'm rocking a brand new machine myself. I've got a beast. I'm driving a Porsche over here. It's nice.
oh, so you got the build done, huh?
Yeah, do you know the computer I got is actually called a Lynx, Lynx? Pretty funny. It's completely unrelated to this, but
Is it
it is funny.
is it a cool logo we can steal?
No, our logo is way better.
Yeah, actually, I
Actually,
like
what's
our
kind of
logo.
funny is their logo is it's not an X, it's kind of an S shape, but it is in a very similar two-piece construction like ours is. It was kind of odd.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
wonder. I mean, maybe I should get on the trademark path and get our logo protected before someone rips it off. Although I was on CoinMarketCap a couple days ago and I did stumble upon another coin project that had a logo. Oh my God, it was really close to ours. The colors were different, of course, but
I mean,
yeah, I gotta
I feel like
totally
it
protect.
just happens a lot in this space. I think a lot of logos from a lot of coins look very similar to each other, and I think without any kind of true regulation in place, there's no way to really enforce this kind of stuff between them. So it's just sort of a,
Right,
gentleman's
right.
game.
It's kind of like the ticker thing too. I mean,
Yeah.
when we grabbed the LYNX ticker, it was unused and untouched, and since then,
Yep.
yeah, it's
Well,
times have
I mean, it
changed.
seems strange to me that two coins could even have the same ticker. It's kind of stupid if you're starting a coin, you don't want to use the
Right,
same ticker as someone else because you're going to have confusion in exchanges and listings and aggregator sites.
right, right. And it's inevitable that someone's going to send coins to an address that's not going to work, and uh, pain ensues. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
All right. I've got my list of items here, cause that I want to chat about,
Yeah.
and with the updates that we've had out here. Get my list out. And I know you've got some cool stuff with Tipsy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll share the latest developments with Logware. And I think for our next meeting, what we'll do, and we don't have to agree on it now. I suppose we could chat about it in collectively, the group as a whole, in the general channel. But like, it's 7 p.m. right now. Obviously, it's too late for our European friends,
Mm-hmm.
which really kind of sucks because we've got a lot of European friends, and I know that I got some private messages and I saw a few public ones on the channel as well that they really wanted to attend.
Yeah.
But I think it was like 1 o'clock that Osmos had written in and
Mm-hmm.
said, "Nah, I can't." He's a family guy, so I
And
get that.
fair enough, it is Sunday night as well. So I mean, you got Monday tomorrow. Kids especially have to go to school. Maybe.
Right. So maybe what we do is, we do a weekday, like a Wednesday, but we shoot for like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern. That way it buys a few hours for our European friends.
I still kind of like the Sunday thing. I mean, it's nice to
Yeah.
be able to have it. It's a casual chat on the weekend. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm usually I mean, personally, I'm very busy throughout the week, and I don't know if I have time. Sunday does end up being a kind of a relaxing day for me. So I don't know.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
I
If
just,
we get a majority that says Sunday's good, then
sure, yeah.
I'm fine with that as
I'm just
well.
saying if we do it earlier as well, it's a day off for most people. If we get it to
Hmm.
that sweet spot time zone that everybody can kind of attend, that might be good.
Something else too is, and I know it's going to immediately cut out our Android users that use Android phones, but I've been on Clubhouse a lot lately, and
I
Clubhouse.
I don't have
Oh,
an iPhone. I don't know. I've never
yeah,
been on Clubhouse.
and there we go. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we just need to wait until Clubhouse gets on Android so we don't lose the 65% of the other folks out there that are on Android.
Yeah.
But Clubhouse has been pretty great, and I've been talking about the Lynx project and Logware with lots of folks over the last few weeks on the
Nice.
platform. So that is an opportunity too, because
A friend of mine had a
it's a
random
great place for chat.
conversation with Snoop Dogg on there. Apparently, he was chilling in some room and just like randomly, it's kind of funny to be interesting. Who's like just
I was chatting with the
on
lead
there.
singer of Letters to Cleo a couple days ago. What's her name? Kelly Haley? Oh, I can't remember. But
Don't know.
yeah, it was I saw her handle. I was like, she looks so familiar. I'm dating myself too as a Letters to Cleo
Oh,
fan.
hey, I
And
actually, I in VR last night, I chatted with George C. Romero, the film director. He was in the world that I had, Christy and I had built together for as a comic, basically a mini Comic Con sort of convention panelist watch party and Q&A session thing with these comic creators and all this stuff, but it was all done in VR with people in their
so
headsets.
cool.
But we built the world for it to happen in, which was basically just a faithful recreation of their LA-based comic shop, and then we added on a very fantastical like Anaheim Convention Center looking promenade in the back instead of a parking lot. So they had a nice fancy space with palm trees and uplights and like a little bar and a stage and a screen to be able to do their stuff.
Man, that is so cool. I can't wait to get. I got to come over to your place and borrow your headset so I can get completely immersed and realize what I've been missing out on, and then just go
Yeah.
buy a headset.
Hey man, I'm gonna be fully vaccinated by April 7th, so
Me too.
sweet.
We're getting ready to sign up. I'm going to get on the Walgreens list so that we have the account ready
Oh,
to
I've,
go. I
I've
can't.
already I've already got mine halfway done. I'm waiting on my second one.
Good for you, man. Yeah. So I really look forward to reality coming back to life again,
I have
and
enjoyed
being
this
able to
little
do
this
things.
little strange diversion though because it's given me personally a time to acquire an entirely new skill set, which I think has changed the very course of my life itself. Like
Mhm.
just the where I'm gonna go professionally is way different than where I was going, which is, it's cool, but it's something new.
Mhm.
I'm good at it. My partner Christy is good at it. We work on stuff together. It's fun. It's something we can do together, and we're able to bounce ideas and kind of, our portfolio is very heavy very quickly, and it's nice. It's a lot of fun.
I'm thrilled for you. I think it's. I wish you the best of luck. I'm really happy for you. I love. I don't know what
Well,
you're doing and the situation you're in. I think it's just a really great story,
I mean,
and I'm
all of
really happy
this,
for you.
trust me, man, Lynx is right there in the forefront of what I'm trying to do as well. A lot of my plans, my long game plans involve a cross-platform and now cross-reality gamification using crypto in ways that will, make it accessible for a lot of people very easily. And I just happen to be doing something right now that's getting me in front of a lot of important eyeballs, let's say.
Is there anything that you can share with us about crypto in the VR space? And it doesn't have to be Link specific.
I can tell you that there's not much of it there, and I want to be one of the first people to bring it there.
All right. All right.
Yeah, it's strange to me how little. I mean, there is some obviously. There's entire VR platforms built on blockchain at this point, but just like just like Tipsy here. I mean, Tipsy is basically where I'm bringing you know all this stuff. So it's all going to come to VR eventually. And I have worked out a way to sort of get this to happen. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of coding and a lot that's going to be involved. And Tipsy itself is about to evolve. I'm working, on an entirely new system in architecture, and it's basically going to be like an API system, where
Mhm.
it can be called from any platform. And then, also this way I can start working with other developers as well to integrate the core system into, other things without having to give away my code base, essentially.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I think it's great to abstract it like that, and so that it can be used. Uh, it'll scale that
yeah,
way.
yeah, we're definitely designing it to be enterprise level scaling. So,
And what Discord is in the news recently. What was
yeah, I'm very happy about that. Honestly, if Microsoft ends up buying Discord, it's going to work incredibly well into everything I'm doing because the pathway that most of what I'm doing is all Microsoft based anyway, and hell, even AltSpace VR is owned by Microsoft, which is where I'm doing all of my VR work. So it's just going to make it more convenient and easy for me and for everyone that is involved with my project.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty great. I used to poo-poo Microsoft a lot, but
Oh, I did too. I was a Mac guy for
uh,
many years, but they seem
yeah,
to have gotten their shit together lately.
yeah, Microsoft has done something lately, and it's not in the last few months. This is something several years of work have culminated in. I think a higher quality product that's been coming out of Microsoft. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm sending some notes to some friends of the project that I don't see in our live chat right now to come join us.
Oh yeah, thanks, Activy.
Yeah. All right, there we go. I just sent him a note. All right, cool. All right, so let's see. We've got a couple items we were going to talk about. I was going to share notes on some of the latest Lynx CI enhancements,
Yeah.
one of which I haven't really published on. So it's a sort of a surprise. I think I mentioned it in one post to somebody. And then I know you got some Tipsy stuff that you wanted to share notes on. I think you did at least. And then I'll share the latest with what's going on with Logware, which kind of drives the direction that we have for Lynx as well. So what do you think, Cos? Where should we start?
Yeah,
Or
just I mean,
is it we're
I
12 minutes in?
I don't know. I mean, I figured you could just go over whatever you're doing, and then if
Yeah,
anybody has any questions, maybe we take a break. Don't go straight into what I'm doing, and just kind of take a break, and maybe some questions from anyone who wants to.
yeah.
So by
And
the way,
Peyton
I
just
mean,
joined us too. We
yeah,
always get great questions from Peyton, so that'll be
and
good.
I want to say to all you guys listening, this is a community chat, and so sometimes you feel free to unmute yourself and chime in, and if you would like to talk about stuff, it's not just
Yeah,
the me and Ben show.
that's right. That's right. And it kind of goes back to something that happened that kind of reinforced that. Someone had mentioned something in one of the channels. And I know that sometimes I'm kind of quiet in some of the channels. I tend to lurk sometimes, but I do scan, scroll through, and somebody had mentioned a feature enhancement. And I remember at first rolling my eyes about it, but someone put that bug in my brain by mentioning it on there, and it made its way into Lynx CI. And man, I'll talk about that first. And that
Yeah,
was such a huge enhancement in one of the latest releases that we installed. And so that's kind of how that came along, was just someone sharing the idea and speaking up, which I'm so glad they did. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is in the latest enhancements with Lynx CI. But first, let me reset the room. I think is everybody in the room familiar? Peyton, you may not know this, so I'll go ahead and be super quick about it. Lynx CI stands for Lynx Cryptocurrency Installer. And so what it is it's a bash script that you can use on a VPS, a virtual private server in the cloud, or on a computer at home that you've rebuilt to root maybe. Specifically, this is for Linux. And you can run this one line installer, and the repo is somewhere in the thing here. I can share it later. You can run that one line installer for Lynx CI. And what it does is it installs Lynx on your server, on your VPS. It also downloads the bootstrap, so all the historical block information. It sets up the firewall. It sets up user accounts. It manages all the security for you. And when it's all done, it's mining. And then you might log into it and customize the miner a little bit. So you actually start getting those credits. And it ties into this Tipsy miner concept that Cos will talk about in a minute.
hmm
And so that's what Lynx CI is. So it's slightly separate. It's really an installer for the Lynx daemon, the Lynx program, a Lynx node on a Linux server. But it also works on Raspberry Pi, and it's really designed for Raspberry Pi first. Now, Raspberry Pi, that Raspberry Pi operating system, is built
Could you grab this?
upon
Oh,
an open source version of Debian. So we build it for Raspberry Pi first, and
chat
then we
with
go to the
Lynx.
cloud, and I make sure
Just talking
that,
about cool
on
stuff.
Linode, Amazon Web Services, and
Join us.
DigitalOcean, if you set up a server as Debian 10 or Ubuntu, I think the latest flavors of each, that one line installer will work. Now, with the Raspberry Pi, it's kind of cool. If you've used a Raspberry Pi for longer than about an hour, you already know this. What you do is you flash your SD card with an operating system. You've downloaded it from the Raspberry Pi Foundation website, and you flash that SD card with whatever you're going to do, or you maybe flash it with the gaming system, do the Retro Pi gaming flash. And so you flash your SD card with an ISO or IMG file. It's just an image, and you flash that card, and off it goes. It's doing its thing. Well, Lynx CI has its own ISO IMG file. So you can flash your SD card with an image of Lynx CI. And so you do that just like you would flash it with any other operating system from a Raspberry Pi Foundation. And then you pop the Raspberry Pi, the card into the Raspberry Pi, and you plug in your Ethernet cable, and you plug in your power cable, and voila. The first feature I want to talk about today that we're excited about, that we released about a week or two ago, and I'm running on now 64, 65 Raspberry Pis, and even some Lenovo
Wow.
devices, some AMDs, it's running on all of them, is before, if you were using the Lynx CI installer, it would go through the install process and render, build out the machine, and it does all this for you automatically once you run that one line installer or pop the SD card in the Pi. And so it does all that in setup install work, and then it reboots. Well, then you got to wait for, like, no kidding, depending on the speed of the internet connection and the speed of your computer, somewhere between 12 and 15 hours for it to sync. And like, man, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you're waiting, so usually what I would say to folks, and a couple of you on here have heard me say it, flash your SD card, pop it in your Raspberry Pi before you go to sleep or when you're having dinner, and then maybe by breakfast, you can log into your Raspberry Pi for the first time and kind of configure it and add your miner addresses or do whatever to get your rewards. That's fine, but it's kind of this delayed, satisfaction there. I did the work, a little bit of work. I want to have some fun with this project. I want to do it with my kid. I want to do it alone. I got to wait 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So someone had mentioned on the forum, and I had thought about it a while ago, but I had wanted to do some research because there were some security concerns. But once I did the research and I realized it's going to pass, now what we have is it renders the Pi on a Raspberry Pi. It takes 15 minutes. And that is from installing the SD card to the device is mining. So it's synced to the blockchain and it has started mining. That
Nice.
length of time is now 15 minutes. On a VPS, it's 12 minutes.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy. So now, like, someone on the forum was saying, well, Ben, like, how often should I update my Lynx CI? Because you keep putting out these new releases and these new enhancements. Like, every time you do that, that's 12 or 15 hours that
Right.
my Raspberry Pi is not mining for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a good point. Well, now that's not an excuse anymore. So now you can say, oh, cool, Ben just released a new release. Cool. I'm just going to I'm going to power down
That's
unplug
fantastic.
the power. Yeah, pop out that SD card, reflash it with your Lynx CI, ISO, and then pop it back in your,
You know what?
um,
I'm gonna do
yeah.
it right now while we chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do it. Yeah.
From start to finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's see and when you do it, oh my gosh, you're gonna call me out, make a fool of me here, but when you do it, start your timer on your phone or something,
Okay.
and see if I'm really right about it being 15 minutes to mining. Obviously, I didn't say mine your first block
Sure,
because we
of
all know
course.
that's a little bit slower, right?
That's where the
Uh,
fun comes in. Yeah.
that is where the fun comes in, and that's where that's where Tipsy kind of ties into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and so there's that. That's the first fun thing that I want to talk about is you can now install Lynx CI and have a mining Raspberry Pi in under 15 minutes. And it's cool too in the cloud, cause because I think you use DigitalOcean, and I tend to use Linode a little bit more. And I'm a friend of both platforms. I think that's great. I just happen to like the
Yeah,
UI of
I don't have a
Linode for
particular
some.
affinity. I just happened to go with
Yeah,
DigitalOcean. I already had a structure
yeah,
there, so I've just continued with it. And they haven't
yeah.
wronged me, so why not?
Right, right. And I think the pricing is pretty much the same, and I think the data center distribution is almost the same as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a good way to go. So what I'll do is I'll just log into Linode and I'll fire up a 1 gig VPS, the $5 a month one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll figure out what data center I want it to be in, and I just hit go. And I walk away, make dinner, make a cocktail, do whatever you're doing.
You've got
12 minutes
yeah.
later, it's good to go.
You have that one line installer script now for
That's right.
nodes though. That's handy. Yeah.
That's right, and that's the one I'm talking about. And one of the cool features with that, well, actually, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. That's the third
Oh wait, you're not
third
talking
talking
about
point.
flashing the card, the Link CI only?
Well, I am talking about flashing the card.
All
There's
right.
just there's a little yummy with regards to that one line installer for the VPS that I was just talking about a second ago.
Yeah.
We have a little secret for that thing that's kind of new, and I'll talk about that last because it's really fun.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so tell everyone that's listening about one of the cool new things about Tipsy, and then I'll jump on to the next one. Unless I see Kidikoinosaurus is typing something in my screen here. Maybe I'm going to get a question in a second.
Oh, Discord always blowing us up when we're trying to think our thoughts.
Yeah, we might just be talking too fast, but of course, uh, will respond to any Q&A that comes up, either via audio or chat on the thing. But do you want to talk about an item from the Tipsy arena before I go on to my next item?
I mean, how exciting do you want to get? There's all kinds of little rote stuff and things I'm working on. Like I use the announcement system that I've just built in to announce our little chat, and you saw it was just kind of every 12 hours. You can set it to however, you want. It's an admin only thing, of course, but basically it lets us, put out recurring announcements in whatever channel we want. And you can actually pre-make. I used it like I made my tag system where you can sort of create your announcement and then it's stored, and then you can just choose to run it when and where you want, and you don't have to like do it all at once. You stash up your announcements and then you can just schedule them out on a little calendar kind of thing to run them. It's pretty fun.
If somebody was running another Discord somewhere else and wanted that functionality, could they contact you to get that functionality on their Discord?
So, okay, I think one of the most exciting things about Tipsy is that I am working to make it a public bot. So really, I'm hoping, within a few months to, I can't, I have no idea. This stuff takes a long time, and I don't have a design team over here. Uh, it's I want to make it so that anybody can invite a Tipsy bot to their server, and Tipsy is going to support more coins as well. But again, I'm going to be very choosy about what goes on there. I'm not going to support every shitcoin that comes along, and I'm mainly going to go with. I'm going to start out supporting some of my major ones that I'm into, which are Stellar XLM, Cardano ADA, and Litecoin and Bitcoin, and then plus the ones that Tipsy currently supports, which is Lynx, of course, Litecoin
Mhm.
Cash, XP experience points, and Zavander Coin.
Mhm. I don't
So,
think I've heard of Savander coin.
they, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what they do. They're really
All
nice
right.
guys, and they're doing something good, and they're down in Australia doing their thing. And I don't know, they were actually around when I was first developing Tipsy, and they were some of the first guys that were kind of like hanging out and helping me beta test, and all really cool. And so they started a project, and I just kind of helped them out as well. As we've just been, I don't know, it doesn't really do, there's not a whole lot there as far as Tipsy's concerned, because I think they use other bots as well, so it's Tipsy's just one of many.
Well,
um,
I'm friends of people that want to try new thinking, so new ideas.
Oh,
I'm
don't
into
worry.
that.
I have an aggressive marketing strategy planned once all the infrastructure is in place. It's just going to take a while to build out. And now with the addition of the whole virtual reality aspect, I'm a little distracted over there, doing this whole world building thing. So I don't get to
Yeah,
code as much.
are you getting enough sleep? How
What?
are you
What
managing
is
your time?
what is that?
Yeah, what's that?
How do you
Yeah,
spell that? I don't know what
yeah,
that is.
yeah, I get that. All right.
Um, we're just, it's just go 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 time right now, because it's one of those times in life where it's, ebb and flow, man, and it's all flowing it right now, and it's flowing a lot, and I have to surf on it and try to keep up.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. All right, so I'm going to go
Oh,
ahead and
wait,
jump on. Oh, go
wait,
ahead.
wait. One more thing I want to share about Tipsy.
Okay.
This is a fun one I built in. It's called the radio drop, and basically,
Ooh.
oh, are you kidding me?
Would it
I
looks
hold
as though
on.
no one is listening to your free radio drops right now.
It's because I have it set to the community radio channel, not this new one I just created.
Right.
Hang on. Here, let me just delete that. Stand by. I didn't do that. Edit, edit.
Right. Undo.
I
Control
will.
Z.
I will show you that in a minute. It's basically a rain that rains on people who are listening, and I'm about to rain on everybody when I figure this out. Um, but it just kind of it originated in another server actually in the Litecoin Cache, but it's a really good idea, and it promotes if we have like as we're starting up these more like listening parties and even this community radio channel I've put in, you can reward people for hanging out and listening, and so it's not about being active or anything. It just looks at who's listening and whether or not they're deafened, and if you deafen yourself and can't hear us, then you're obviously not going to get anything.
So for those folks that maybe aren't 100% or don't know, I think most of us here do.
Hmm.
But Tipsy is a bot that runs inside of Discord,
I think.
and one of its primary functions, it's got a lot of features to it. As Cos was talking about, one of the primary features is it's got this tipping feature built into it. And a rain is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, a rain is the sender can say, all right, I've got this much links that I just want to go ahead and rain out on everybody or this
Hmm.
group at this moment in time. And does it get divvied out evenly amongst the recipients?
Yeah, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
basically you send out an amount and it divides it up by whoever is currently eligible for that amount. So however you
Hmm.
send it out, whether it be a rain or a soak or a, you can randomly send a lightning bolt out. And I'm working on other little ways. I've seen a lot of other clever ways to do these things, and I'd like to incorporate other fun stuff. You can bury a treasure, which I could do actually right now. So that's people have done that.
In,
So
in
like,
order,
what?
there we go.
Oh my God.
Stinker.
No.
So in order to be able to receive this, I gotta,
Yes.
a person's got to sign up to be a participant within Tipsy, don't they?
Yeah,
What's that,
Tipsy's
what's that
voluntary
registration?
system. So the thing is, I can't keep track of everybody who walks into a server because there's a lot of spammers and just, garbage, forgotten accounts and whatever. And I can't, that would just junk up my system. So you have to at least tell the thing you want to begin. That's step one is saying the begin command.
All right. So if I want to, if I'm not in Tipsy or registered because I want to get some of these free coins faucets that Tipsy awards,
Hmm.
uh, the command I think is exclamation point begin, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if
There
you
you
did
go.
that now, I mean, it's just gonna either ignore you or tell you you've already begun.
Well, I'm just saying it out, even though you and I
I
both
know,
know
I
this,
know.
and I'm saying it because there are a few folks that I know are going to be listening to this recording
Yeah.
that aren't registered, and I really would like them to get some of that Tipsy Lynx rain.
Well, I can lay it out here. Here's how it works then. Let me just explain it to them, whoever's listening. So the
Sure.
idea is you come to our Discord server, you register with
You
our bots.
begin, you
So,
register with our bots. So
whoa, can you,
we got some
oh,
feedback there. Maybe I can meet somebody here.
here, I got him.
Okay, got it.
Hello, G Nat Stang 23.
Okay.
I muted you because you were feeding back. All right. Basically, you come to the Discord, you chat, you are active. It knows if it keeps track of activity. It doesn't like I don't record people's chats and shit like that. I'm not into that, but it does need to monitor activity wise, like when you chat, and how much like how long your content is. And there's certain like ways that it filters out things to know if you're eligible for points in that moment for that piece of chat, whatever. So it's kind of like a little it's almost like an RPG gaming system. If you think about it, like you're out there farming for points in a game, you're out here chatting, it's kind of the same thing. You're just, as you're out here active and doing stuff, you get points, and as you get points, you level up, and as you level up, you get more access to various rewards and things that happen. Um, and I've got them honestly turned down pretty low in here because we want to kind of like spur on some more activity. So to be honest, coming into Lynx, it's quite easy. You just register and start chatting, and then you're just eligible for whatever anyone rains out. And the idea of a rain, the whole point of the bot is it's community oriented. A rain is sent out by someone in the community to benefit the rest of the people in the community. And obviously, you could have everybody just splitting up their money and going straight to every single person, but there's accounts in here. There's thousands. Let's hang on.
Yeah, there are.
I got a command for this. There are 1,800 people in here, but only 200 of them have registered, and I guarantee you, not all 200 of those are active and online at any one point. In fact, we have a command for that. You can say active. So right now, there are 12 people who have chatted within the last day or so and been active. Like I think it's or last 10 hours I've got it set to. So it's like you really don't even, it's not even that strict in here. Other servers have it in the last 30 minutes. You have to stay active, constantly in there chatting. And it is a good way to get people to come back and be in the server. And you will, and to be honest, you will learn far more links chatting in the server than you would just mining, which is funny,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
like I mean, I've just the comparison alone, what I earn from just chats and rains versus what I mine in is astoundingly different. And it's all community based. That's the thing, is what I love about it is generosity that circles around and benefits everyone, and kind of a rising tide effect. So someone comes along, they're a whale. We've had a few pop in here and bury giant treasures and rain out, a million or 100,000 or so. Let's see, we got top rain. Yeah, someone rained out
Yeah.
100,000 links. This someone named Muffin, who I haven't seen in forever. So that's what I mean. Like someone comes along randomly, rains a giant amount out, and then those people suddenly have a lot of extra in their accounts. So then they feel in like, hey, this is nice. Now I can rain out some too. And then other people who happen to be chatting later with them, they receive that little bit and then they get some. And then it kind of spreads out. It's a true trickle down effect as long as people, and not everybody does that. Some people just come in here and they chat and they get their links and they go. And you know what?
Mhm.
That's cool too. That's part of the system, but you came in here and you talked, you were active in the community, and at least for that moment that you were here, it helped us look better, I guess.
Yeah, I like it when we see new folks come in, they're interested in the project, they kind of learn a little bit, they get involved, and then after a while, they're earning links,
Hmm.
participating, they're getting rain, and they're starting to do rain, and they're like, oh well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and fire up a Pi, or I'm going to fire up a Node, and they start asking the good technical questions that I'm interested in chatting with them about, and then I log in a couple days later, or a couple weeks later, and I see them handing out good info to other newbies that come in. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
And the Lynx, the Tipsy piece is an important part in the
Yeah.
whole thing.
I thought this was a very fun way, basically using the idea of community donations. A while back, like I said, I built the buried treasure system, and so you can like look and see what treasures are buried. And the way that you dig for a treasure is basically by raining at least 100 links. So you just come in here and you rain 100 links, and you will dig for the chance for the treasure. See, I rolled a 35 and a 254 on these 604 sided dice. I know that seems weird. It's an algorithm based on the amount of things the prize go. Like it wouldn't be that big for a buried of 10 links or 100 links. You know what I mean? Like it scales in its difficulty. And that's all. And I'm sure I'm gonna adjust that more. Honestly, that's well. Speaking of tipsy links,
There we go. All
awesome.
right, we'll talk.
Oh,
Maybe we'll
dude,
talk about that
the
in
timing.
a second. Yeah, that is
Yes.
kind of weird.
So,
Oh, that's funny. Steph, got it, got it.
so
I'm
anyway,
gonna do a
let
little rain right here.
yeah, man.
Cool.
Let me get
There
into
we go.
this. So, see, you dug for a thousand, 2,000 links, and Activate dug for 1,000. We all missed. Hey, it's you don't hit on every single one. It's part of the game, and so that right there encourages people to rain as well, and so that gets people raining, and then you find a big giant treasure suddenly. Oh man, like I found the 100,000 links treasure. Now I've got a ton. I can rain more and find even more. And frankly, if you do the math on it, if you have enough, you can really just hit the odds, rain it all out until you hit the big one, and then you'll gain even more than you had. Like it just depends.
hmm
Um,
I love that we just had. All right, Kitty, I saw you posted a note. I'll read it in a second. I love that we just had a winner, a block winner for
yeah,
the Tipsy Links
I know
integration.
that
That's
was
just
Steph too, which is
uh
great because they've been in here, kind of
huh.
like asking about, and we've gotten them on board, and
Yep,
this is what I like
relatively
to
new.
see. And so, all
That's
right,
just like we were talking.
the
How could we have
evolution.
scheduled that? That is weird. There's
That's
no way we could have
no,
planned that.
no, my friend.
That's
There's no
weird.
scheduling. That's just universal serendipity, and you just got to
Yeah,
roll with it.
yeah. hmm
So the thing is, like, I took that idea of the buried treasure, and then I decided, okay, so I built this thing called the ATM, the automatic treasure machine. And so this takes a share of every rain that you give out. So you send out a rain to the community, and then everybody gets a share, but then there's one more person technically added, and it's this automatic treasure machine. And so when it gets its little share and it fills up to 1,000 links, it automatically buries a new treasure, which, if you look, we have quite a lot of 1,000 link treasures. We have 47 of them to find. So that's all, again, just the mentality of coming into a server and raining out is I just want to give this away. There's no expectation of needing it back. It's a gift. And so that gift just gets split up. And having it one more split just to be able to collect into a community fund or whatnot, uh, that nobody really cares or notices because everybody's doing it and there's just small bits flying around everywhere. And but
hmm
the thing is, these little bits that people aren't getting, they're going into these buckets, are just getting turned out into treasures that someone's going to find later and people are going to dig for by raining, and everyone's going to win anyway. So it's a kind of a self-incentivizing system. Once it gets rolling, it just snowballs.
hmm
And so from there, I created the community fund. Excuse me, I cannot type today. And the community fund is the same way. So, and actually we can create in lots of different funds, but we only have one fund that we've worked on. And you can see like that everybody has who is donated, how much, kind of like who the top donators are, how much is in there, how much has been spent. If any was taken out, which it has not been yet, it would actually show right there as well, the top, like the last top, 10, or the last 10 transactions of where it went and how it was, you know, divvied out. You can pay out directly from a fund, you can rain from a fund, you can bury from a fund. So there's a lot of ways to, so this is the official way we would collect links from the community for like an official cause. Like we could start a fund for something specific, and then people could literally just donate to that specific fund, not just to the community fund or whatever. And then we could have this kind of like way to target what we're gonna, fund from everyone. So then I took that idea and I moved it one further and tied it into the entire mining system. And so that's where the Tipsy Lynx mining came in. Um,
Yeah, I don't know, remember whose idea it was, but we figured it out a while ago.
yeah,
And
it
it
was
took a
you and
little
I.
while to
I
complete
think
the.
we were sitting over a bowl of ramen noodles talking about it.
Was it that night?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think we were just
yeah.
hashing it out, and it was a good idea. And it's been, yeah, we've both been very distracted and noodling it around for a long time, and it finally came to fruition. So then oops, hey, that's the full
Yeah.
thing. You type links minor, and you'll get the full instructions. If you type
And
links
there's the.
minor ID, you'll actually get a DM
Mhm.
with your own ID. Um,
Yeah, and inside of Lynx CI as well, when you're logged in as a Lynx user, you can type what's the command? I think it's just Tipsy, and it gives you pretty much the same information right here with the instructions. So
Yeah,
if
and all,
you're,
and all those
if you,
instructions are
yep,
included in the DM that you get. So it's all very
that's right.
easy. Tipsy's meant to hold your hand. Like one of the things I really like to do is try to make it so intuitive and just like this is what you do and here's all you can do, and if you do it wrong, I'm gonna tell you the right way to do it, you know, things like that.
Um, I want to address a question that came up from Kitty Coinosaurus, and he's got a longer question than he wrote out here, and I'm going to try to boil it down, which comes down to I think, and tell me if I picked up on it wrong here, you can write in here. There's this philosophy of should I have one powerful computer that's mining links with maybe LXC or Kubernetes or even Docker, and I'm running maybe one big VPS with lots of nodes, or should I have maybe just one super powerful single node that's running a super fast links node? It kind of gets into that whole, and I don't really like to use the term ASIC resistance because we're not ASIC resistance. It's kind of a made up word. It doesn't really mean anything. Um, and so I kind of want to address that question a little bit, cause I'm going to hop over to this question really quick.
hmm
And the answer is the security and the distribution of mining rewards works out really well for Lynx specifically, because when you are dealing with lots of small nodes
hmm
as opposed to just a few large, powerful ASICs or dedicated mining rigs. And because mining links isn't making anybody rich, we all know that those Raspberry Pis and those VPSs that we're running, even the few links that we're winning while mining, if we were to go sell those, that's not going to cover the cost of the electricity or the VPS. So yeah, it's right now it's a little bit of a hobbyist thing. You're doing it because it's an exciting project. There's work being done with the system. You're not doing it because you're starting a business or you want to create a profitable mining farm. You're doing it because it's a fun project to be involved with in the crypto space. You're
hmm
learning, you're getting involved, and there may be this possibility in the future that this thing really blows up and turns into something, and you want to be a part of that. And so that's kind of the reason. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying it.
Pause.
I was just chuckling and thinking how right you are about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks. And yeah, definitely question me if I'm going off the deep end here. But yeah, it's just like what I said. But I think that the system is designed really well for small devices as opposed to a few big devices. So I'm sorry, there's some noise in the
I can,
background there,
yeah,
but
we can hear
uh,
it.
yeah, I'd hit mute, but I'm
You're good.
yabbering on. So Bitcoin is and I'm not going to poo-poo or put down Bitcoin. I'm definitely not going to do that. But Bitcoin has a lot of really big mining pools and these big expensive ASICs and powerful machines that run that network, and that's cool. And that's the way that Bitcoin does its thing. And from the very beginning, and it's in the white paper, is we
hmm
think small, and energy efficiency. We're thinking about the environment, and as that unfolded, what happened was we realized that because of the yields of a energy efficient platform like what we have right now, it kind of opens up some opportunities that you don't have with other crypto projects that have more expensive transaction fees, really as a result of the cost of a transaction and its relationship with mining and the electricity cost and all that. And so what that does with Lynx is it creates some opportunities. In our case, data storage. So we've got inexpensive data storage. So that's why we do the whole Logware thing. The Logware API is great for data storage. In fact, we're using this Logware. Yeah, Logware's bot. We have a bot implementation of it running right here in the Discord. So
Which I also wrote.
yeah, actually, Cause is the originator of that code. I think that we set up late night a couple times, and I think I penned some specs, and we finally got it working, and
Yeah.
it's pretty damn cool. And we've got a bunch of folks that use it in other Discords, and that's just one implementation of storing data on a blockchain.
Yeah. Oh,
Here
and I
in
guess for any future
Discord.
people listening, if you do come to the Discord, you just type the word Logware and the bot will
Yep.
DM you with full instructions.
Yep, you don't have to worry about anything. In fact, the bot says play ain't cool, just type Logware.
Hmm.
And so yeah, if you want to learn or do anything, you just type the word Logware, and it'll walk you through the process. So that's what we do. And so I kind of think of it, a Kittycoinosaurus. I kind of think of it, Lynx as kind of like a project, like a swarm of bees. Each one of the little bees is, it's ephemeral. We don't really give them names. We don't really think of them as pets, but they're important. If we lose one, yeah, okay, I get it, but it's not going to take down the system. Like Bitcoin, which is really
Yes.
a herd of 3 or 5 cattle. You lose one, it's expensive, it hurts, you notice it. They probably have names, and it was expensive to get it to where it is. In the case of Lynx, that small hive of bees, or hive of ants, if you will, each one of those is a little worker, and they serve a really important role. But because of Lynx CI, you can render nodes, spin them up, and shut them down with a snap of a finger, and no harm done. And it only benefits the overall network. And I think that, in my personal philosophy, I think that falls more in line with what I read and interpreted in this original Satoshi paper. So that's why we have this implementation that we have.
Right on.
Uh, go ahead.
Kitty Cohen's got a good question here. If
Oh, yeah,
from
let
a
me
from a
scroll down.
comment that someone had left, if all these rules are nothing more than all these rules are nothing more than solo mining theater, an ASIC with 1 million times the hash rate of an RPi driving 1 million solo miner simulators can earn as many rewards as 1 million RPis. Is what he's describing
Yes,
here a
describe as
problem
a.
if it actually happens?
Yeah. So, and this is a question that comes up, well, I've got a device that can run super fast, much faster than a Raspberry Pi. Then, therefore, if I extrapolate it out, I should be getting all these crazy rewards.
Hmm.
Well, you'd think the rules of the proof of hybrid proof of work within Lynx kind of slows that down a little bit. So yeah, you could fire up your expensive ASIC that you paid a bunch of money for, and you got to pay the power bill to keep it on. And you could point it at the Lynx platform, and you're probably going to win the first block, and you'll probably win the second block. But then you got to go in and make some customizations to your software, because it's just not going to work anymore, and you won't win any more blocks. But making customizations to software isn't a reason not to do something. So people are going to do that.
Oh yeah.
And then what's going to happen is the hash rate's going to go up, the difficulty rate's going to go up, because we use DigiShield.
Hmm.
And what you're going to find is you're going to have a hard time finding a block. And not just you, but the hybrid proof of work rules will randomly distribute
Uh,
to winners.
he's
So
he's
just
he's
because,
clarifying though that ASIC would run 1 million
oh,
nodes, not work as one device.
right, I gotta put my glasses on and read this thing.
Oh no, he just
Oh, a
posted it.
million nodes.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Yeah, if you can get a million nodes to do that, that's going to be super cool. Unfortunately, each one of those addresses on each one of the nodes needs to be unique, and they need to have a minimum of 1,000 links in each one of them.
Oh, wow.
So
What if
yeah,
what if they're using the Tipsy system?
uh, the Tipsy system well, he wouldn't be getting any of the rewards, so the incentive doesn't exist.
Well, he wouldn't get the block reward, but Tipsy pays out twice the block reward.
God, I want to see him try it. That would be kind of cool. I love free testing.
Hmm.
I mean, in the end, what we're going to have is a really great, well-running network.
Well, let me get back to
Is
one
there a
point because
security
actually,
issue?
so even like you were saying, let them try. So okay, somebody tries like that. Hey, maybe they're running some blocks for a while, and
Uh-huh.
the Tipsy mining balance, it hangs, or what would you say, hangs in the balance or whatever. You can look at any point. Anyone can type Lynx balance here, and um,
See what the pool looks like.
well, hmm.
What do we got?
Well, yeah, I'm wanting to address this point about Tipsy. What's going on there, Tipsy? Okay, there, it was just lagging. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so as you can see, let me get rid of this one. As you can see, the Lynx balance, Tipsy Lynx account balance is currently over 2 million, and we started with 2 million. So we've been paying out constantly to these miners, yet the balance to pay out is going up because Tipsy Links is also on the reins. So just like the ATM for the treasure and the fund, Tipsy Links has a share of the reins as well. So basically, you can donate straight to this account. As you can see, you can deposit right to it, or you can just rain out to the community for fun, and small portions of that will go to this fund, which will continuously, hopefully, build and allow a larger network of people to come on, have faster pay, and then also hit these lotteries every now and then. And because if you get all five hash numbers, you're going to get a million links.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really, statistically hoping that doesn't happen right away.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some really generous participants within the community that have been funding that address. So yeah, I'd hate to see it disappear that
Yeah.
quickly, but I don't know, that chance is there. I do want to go back to kind of Kitty Cornosaurus. He was one of the reasons he's asking the questions is because they came up on a recent Hacker News
Hmm.
post. There was a Y Combinator page about this discussion, and I think one of the things that I had said was I can't remember. I'd have to bring up the link to look at it. I had a lot of thoughts bounce around my head, and I tried to boil it down to keep it relatively short. Um, it was basically, yeah, you've got these nodes, this super powerful solo miner, basically this master computer that's running all these into virtual solar miner simulators. Is there really a security risk to it? And I suppose there could be if you could figure out how to manage your attack across all of the individual solar mining computers. And that also exposure only exists assuming you're the only one doing it. So the attack surface exists if there's only one attacker. As soon as you have more than one attacker doing the exact same thing, then the attack vector disappears because
Yeah.
the random nature of the distribution and winning on the platform. So um,
Which
Kitty,
I love seeing that chart.
yeah, I did too. If you when you look at the what tab is it on the chains on the
Ex-
crypto ID block explorer,
Extraction.
it shows it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I see that icon. Yeah, so it's kind of a neat concept. And KittyCoin, we've actually done some. Uh, I don't know. I guess it was sanctioned hacking against our own network. I mean, you kind of have to, right? And I'll be honest with you, some of it was actually by accident too. We've actually attacked our own network with some stuff, and every once in a while we'd notice some things and we'd learn from it and made a few improvements here and there. But it's been pretty resilient so far. No systems are perfect. And, I'm not deluding myself thinking we're going to develop some perfect algorithm that just doesn't exist, right? So, but
Yet.
I think we've got a pretty good system, a pretty stable system uh, so far. So, yeah, and it's been stable enough for over what a year and a half now. We're building a business on it. We got paying
Uh,
customers that are using it, so that's
oh,
kind of
you're
cool.
just talking about Logware. I was like, the chain itself has been stable for quite a few years now.
Yeah, well, and Logware is stable, and people are storing. Customers are paying us to store their data on it,
Hmm.
and when they need to get their data, it's there.
And that's
That's
one thing.
cool. Now,
There's a
it,
segue. I'd like to move into, unless you're done. I don't want to cut you off.
nah, I'm done rambling on. Go ahead.
But I'd like to move into use cases a little bit. And obviously you've got clients and you can't talk about things you're doing. That should be clear to anyone listening, that in business you don't just chat about your in progress deals. But speculation on like what Logware could be used for would be fun. And I think, I've even thought of a few things. I mean, like hell, voting would be amazing. Like
Yeah.
to have we could just use it to have a national voting system that would be transparent and, immutable. There would be no way to, cause all these claims of false anything.
There's a lot of opportunities. NFTs are in the map. I gotta close my window. The rain's coming in outside the window here. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of chatter in the news about NFTs. And for those folks that didn't watch Saturday Night Live this weekend in the U.S.,
I didn't.
a non-fungible token. Yeah, you should
I think.
fire up Hulu and watch it.
Yeah.
First, it's got Maya Rudolph, which
Oh,
is
fantastic. She's one of my
yeah,
favorites.
it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But there was a really funny and smart little music video that Pete Townsend, what's his name? Did
Pete Davidson.
Davidson, yeah, big Who fan, and so and it was on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and so without going into details about the project, Logware can be leveraged to store a data set that is unique for a specific product in the production line.
Hmm.
For a specific item that's coming off the production line, I can uniquely identify that and trace it and track it.
Right.
And Logware is really good for that. There's lots of projects that can work with that type of data, but Logware is really good with it because it's just so versatile. Our API can be coded and introduced into any platform that the manufacturing company is using. So it's really about versatility and access.
Right.
So yeah, it's like, sometimes folks would say, well, Solidity and the learning curve to figure out Solidity and the transaction costs on Ethereum, that's kind of restrictive for us. Our answer is you can code it in whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
Does your programming language tolerate working with APIs that are built on standards? Yes.
I mean,
Okay, then you can use us.
does it do GET requests? And I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've got a implementation of a bash shell script storing and pulling data on Logware running on a VPS sitting here in front of me I've been playing with. It's kind of cool. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. That's one use case. Yeah, I know. NFTs are insane, and I think there is a high degree of tulips going on right here. But I think that it's a
Good
technology
one.
that's come along. It's probably not going to go away once the smoke settles and the phony baloney with jacked up prices and people selling pictures of their cat, whatever it is. Once that goes away, I think we will see some positive outcomes from this concept. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Kind of went off the deep end on that one there.
Yeah.
Did I address the other question that came up, Cause?
I
Yeah, I think
think so. You got the
Kitty
link up.
Coin, you're asking such good questions, man. We gotta have another
Oleg,
chat.
what about
These are
Andrew
good
Yang over
questions.
there? We have a statement about Andrew Yang.
I didn't see the Yang statement. All right, here we go. I was going to ask about voting. Andrew Yang, the presidential candidate in 2020, had a goal of implementing blockchain tech into voting. He's now running for mayor. He did, and there's a couple. I think Votes, VOATZ. There's a couple of voting platforms out there that are already going down that path and have been for a few years.
VOATZ. I would never use a platform that spells it like that. Are you kidding me? Come on.
But yeah, don't get
What?
me started on that.
Are you
Yeah,
hackerware immediately?
I
Are you
know,
showing
I
me your
know.
1990 demo
I
CD?
was like,
What is this?
you put all this work into building this cool technology, and you gave it a crappy name like that. That's kind of bad. But yeah, and you could also store voting data sets or registration data. There's all sorts of critical data that could work on Logware really well. Yeah.
The Biden oath. That's a good one.
Oh my gosh. All right, I want to go on to can we move on to the next Lynx CI feature that I rolled out?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Where's my notes? All right.
It's your
So
boat,
this one's
Captain.
kind of it is, I guess. So you guys can jump ship if I start going crazy here. Auto tune. So the latest Lynx CI, and this goes for the command line installer and the Raspberry Pi. As you know, and I think I published a Medium article about recommendations for how to tune it. And so the tuning of your Lynx CI really comes down to what it means is how fast do you want the built-in miner to run on the Raspberry Pi? And if you run it too slow, well, you're just not going to, you may not win as many blocks, and you're not going to use as much CPU as that's available to you in that Raspberry Pi. But maybe in a virtual environment too, Linode or DigitalOcean may shut down your VPS because you're mining at 100%. They don't really appreciate that too much. So you want to jigger that percent of CPU that you're using. And you configure that there's a parameter in the lynx.conf file that you've installed. And that is part of Lynx CI. So you would log in. I think there's like a default value it sets it to. It's like 75% or 65%, I can't recall. And then you just go in and you check it. So maybe with AWS, if you're using like a T3 micro, you really don't want it to be above 20% or you're going to get charged fees. So you'd set that CPU percentage at like 19%, and you'd be good. On Linode, I've run mine at about 85%, and I've never had Linode write me a letter and say, hey, we're shutting down your VPSs because you're a miner. And I've never had problems with DigitalOcean either. And same with Scaleway. I think I get Scaleway running in Europe at Paris. I get those running pretty high. With regards to the Raspberry Pi, folks say, well, Ben, like, how fast should I be running my CPU on my Raspberry Pi? And really the answer is, and I wish Osmos was here, but he'll listen to it later, because we were having a late night chat one night. It's like, I don't have a fan on it. So it does get kind of warm. Like, well, you're shortening the life of the Raspberry Pi if you let it get too hot for too long of a time. So put a fan on it, cool it a little bit. And so the idea popped in my head was like, well, why don't we create some type of auto tuning feature where the Raspberry Pi tunes its speed down based on the temperature or speeds up based on the temperature automatically. And before I couldn't do that. I don't know if the Raspberry Pi 3 had a temperature sensor on board. I don't remember if it does. Maybe it did. I don't think the 2 did, but the 4 does. And so I was like, well, the data is available to me. Why not do this? So I had the wild hair, and it took me a few weeks to get it built and tested and rolled out. But we now have that auto tuning feature, and it's in Lynx CI right now. So it's specifically for Raspberry Pis. So it's really slick. So cause you flash that SD card, I don't know, 20 minutes ago.
Oh no,
And
I
you pop
didn't.
it
I'm
in.
sorry. I
Okay.
I can't find my card reader.
No, you can't find it. All right, no problem. So
Sorry.
you flash the SD card, you pop it in there, and you walk away. 20 minutes later, you pop in to see what it's doing. Well, it starts out with a low default value. I think it's like 80%. But maybe your Pi has a fan on it, so it's running pretty cool. Well, every hour, there's a service now that runs inside of Lynx CI in the operating system. Every hour, it turns on and it does a 5-minute average. It checks the temperature every second for 5 minutes, and it comes out with an average. And so on the 5th minute of every hour, it says the average temperature of this Raspberry Pi is hot or cold. And it's either hot or cold. And there's a span in the middle where once it falls in the middle, it's okay. So if it's cold, it increases the CPU amount of the Lynx miner by 1%, and it restarts Lynx. And then it resumes and just picks up where we left off. And so, 6 hours later, 10 hours later, whatever, before you know it, it's going to be running as hot as it can run, as fast as it can run on its own. And so you might say, well, how do I get it to run faster? Really, all you need to do is put it in a cool room or put a fan on your Raspberry Pi. The Pi will automatically sense the temperature change, and it'll start running faster and mine faster, and you might get more Lynx. So I'm looking at, some of you guys have seen my pictures of my enclosures, those acrylic enclosures that I have. And I've posted them on maybe when I stop talking, I'll repost it again. Each one of them has a fan on it. So, they start out at kind of 80%, but after I go to sleep and wake up, I log into it. The fan keeps it so cool, they max out at 92%. At 92%, I'm making like 1.5 Lynx a day on each one of those Raspberry Pi 4s. Now, if the room gets hot or the fan dies or whatever, no big deal. It'll sense it and tune down the CPU. So they never overheat. I'm never burning out my Raspberry Pis.
Nice.
And I kind of get that longer lifespan out of that $35 device. So that is the new feature, the second new feature that has been rolled into Lynx CI. You guys are getting it now. It's tested. It's running on 65 Raspberry Pis that I'm staring at right now. It is cool, and it works. So fire up your Raspberry Pis and
Nice.
enjoy that cool new feature.
All right. I have found. All right, let's
Thanks,
do
Matt.
this.
I appreciate it.
Let's do this. I'm going to try and install, now that you've talked about it, I'm going to try and install it
Did
now
you
here.
find your USB
I did.
card,
I
stick
did.
reader, card
I
reader?
did. Yep, yep, yep. And now I have to go download.
All right.
Actually, I haven't even downloaded the Raspberry Pi imager on this computer yet, so I'm going to be doing all this starting right now from scratch.
Well, you're going to do it, and then you're going to be bitter because I'm going to share the third new feature, and you're going to say, "Why didn't you tell me that before I went live with
Well,
this?"
then let me just wait.
Yeah. All right. This window that I'm copying and pasting into the general channel, I'm going to put it in a code view. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
All right. I changed the passwords. I changed the ID, and that's my Tipsy ID. I don't mind you guys seeing that. That's fine. Okay. So here we go. The third feature, which I haven't really talked about too much.
Oh, yeah.
So when you flash that SD card cause for
Hmm.
your Raspberry Pi, so what you do is you take that SD card, you stick it in your card reader. I really recommend using from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. They have, I think they call it the Pi Imager.
Hmm.
That's really
Yeah,
the best one.
that's what I'm
Yeah, don't
downloading and
use
installing.
that.
No?
What was that other one that we used to use? They changed it. Belina Etcher, I think it was. Man, I
Etcher.
don't know what they did. There was some update that they did, and it would error out like every other try. It was so frustrating.
Hmm.
The Pi Imager works really well. So what you do is get the Lynx CI download.
Which
You
I,
only need to download it once and
well,
just reuse it over
I
and
just
over again.
downloaded it, so.
Okay, flash your SD card with it. And it only takes, depending on the speed of the SD card, it may take a minute or two. And then pop the SD card out of the USB reader and then pop it back in and create a file. I think it needs to be called wpa-supplicant.conf. I'm going to type that in here.
Yeah.
And the contents of that file need to look like what I just posted in the general channel. WPA supplicant dot. I suppose I should spell it right because it kind of makes a difference,
It's spelled
doesn't it?
in the file itself there.
Is it? Oh yeah, you're right. Oh my god. .conf. Yeah, Matt, it does need to be. Thank you. It does need to be spelled right. So what you do is you drop that in there. And what does that do? What that means is when the Lynx CI is done rendering the Pi and doing all of its installs, it goes to this file and it grabs your SSID for your wireless. It grabs your username and your password. So I made up a username and I made up a password here for two networks. I got the G network and I got my regular network.
Hmm.
That way I can fail over in case one doesn't work. And there's the password. So the Raspberry Pi, the Lynx CI now will not use the Ethernet cable. It doesn't have to use the Ethernet cable. It'll use the Wi-Fi automatically on start. And I've got my Tipsy ID on that last line. And so Lynx CI will detect it and automatically configure my lynx.conf file for me. I never have to log in to my Raspberry Pi after I pop that SD card
Nice.
into the device. If I use this script, this format script, yeah, yeah. Now, some of the smart folks are going to be like, "Well, Ben, I really don't want to run over Wi-Fi. I want to run it on Ethernet." Right? That's cool. Just put in a dummy username and SSID in there, but just put your SSID or Tipsy ID value in there. It just won't connect to any Wi-Fi. It'll still use your Ethernet, and it'll pre-configure your lynx.conf file with your Tipsy ID. So what this creates is for those of you that know the acronym KVM, keyboard video mouse, it makes your Raspberry Pi a headless KVM free install. Once you flash that SD card and put your config file in there with your Wi-Fi and your Tipsy ID, pop it into your Raspberry Pi, you never have to log in. You never have to do anything. It's just automatically mining and earning rewards for you. And you'll notice those rewards, they're confirmed for you. How so? In Causes Tipsy Miner Bot. So there's that channel we have in our Discord. What's it called? What's the name of the channel with the Tipsy Mining Logs, it's
Hmm.
called. So you can always go there, and everybody gets to thank Cause for this. You can go there and you can see there's your handle that you got credit because your Tipsy ID registered when your headless KVM free Raspberry Pi was mining for you. So
Yes.
there you go. You have this totally, you never have to plug in a keyboard. You don't have to plug in a mouse. You don't have to do anything with your Raspberry Pi. Just keep it cool. That's really all you got to do. Just put a fan on it or put it out on the porch where it won't get wet, or if it stays cold. Well, it's still relatively cool here in Charlotte, North Carolina, but yeah, just keep it cool and you never have to log into it. The other thing that I do is, you guys saw in my pictures, I have that little USB hub that lets me plug in 6 Raspberry Pis to the USB hub.
Yeah.
That USB hub that I use shows me the amp draw, and I can actually see that each Pi is actually pulling a little bit of juice. It's full, almost 5 watts of electricity each. And when it's doing that properly, that tells me that it's really mining. If it's not mining, it's not pulling the full draw. And so that's how I know, just with a glance, that that Raspberry Pi is doing what it's supposed to do. And that is the new feature that is out. And I'm probably going to be writing a Medium article on it this week with some copy paste code with that WPA supplicant file. So you can also fire up your headless KVM free Raspberry Pi node.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when you're running 65 nodes like I am, cause, yeah, setting up the card and then logging into the machine after each one, no, it's mind numbing and it takes forever. It's not hard. It's just like, which Pi am I logging into? I gotta figure out which IP address. I gotta log into that one. You know, when you first log into a Lynx CI Raspberry Pi, it makes you reset the password. So you gotta do that. It kicks you out. You log back in with the correct password, and then you go in and do your thing.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that for 65 nodes. No, it gets you old really quick. So this headless installation technique is really great for those, power users that want to deploy their farm. So I hope you like it.
Nice.
Are
Where's
you flashing your card right now, Cos?
I no, I seem to. I think I grabbed. I went down to the Lynx CI ISO, but I guess I grabbed the source code instead of. I have to open. I got to get the tar.gz. I might
Yeah,
have.
grab the tar.gz. The neat thing about the tar.gz, you don't even have to unpack it to use the Pi imager. You
Okay,
can
cool.
just tell the Pi imager under the custom, you use the custom
Yeah, well,
image.
I knew that. I would use the zip file, and then when it flashed, it was like I looked at it and I was like, this doesn't look correct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're going to use the Pi imager, go to Link CI,
Uh-huh.
grab that tarball,
All right.
what is it, tar.gz,
Tar.gz.
pull it down. You don't even have to open it up.
Nope, I've got it.
Raspberry Pi imager will recognize it just as it
Yeah, I
is.
didn't even have to browse to it. It knew it was there. It's creepy.
There you go. Yeah, it's kind of
All
creepy.
right, here we go. Flashing now. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I see a question from Activity. Let's see here. Where we have done everything for whatever team needs it. Yep. Cool. Nat, I don't remember seeing you in the group before, but welcome. Unless you are a
Nope.
regular member and
Well,
your handle just
yeah,
changed.
they just joined the Tipsy bunch, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
Frey or Free Exchange. I like Frey. I think it Frey Exchange.
Yeah, I call it free, but I'm
Well,
whatever. That's cool.
it doesn't in any way. I don't know. I just can't. It doesn't look like it would be free. Like it doesn't. No, it doesn't
Well,
look
that
like it
would
would
be
be pronounced
misleading,
that
right?
way. And yeah,
Yeah.
that does it does sound bad. Free Exchange, like well, all right. But the Frey Exchange is pretty reliable so far. It's been a nice place to trade. I've enjoyed it. I've
Too.
yeah.
I go on there. I do a little bit of buys here and there, and it's reliable. And I haven't had any problems with the deposits. What's nice about it too is I think his name is Freddie, or Freed. I'm not
Fed
sure how to
actually, I
pronounce
think
his name based on his handle.
I
Is
don't
it
think there
Fred?
I don't think there's an R. I think it's just FEDDE.
Oh yeah, that's right. I chat with him a good bit, both privately and on some of the other networks that he's on. He's part of our Discord. He's just a really nice guy. He's responsive. And Frey, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's helpful. Freyish. Yeah. So he's been really responsive, and that's something we look for. I mean, we get hit up by folks that want exchanges that want us to pay 2 Bitcoins to be on their exchange, on their crappy exchange that's
Yeah.
only going to disappear 2 months later.
Yeah.
We're less interested in that. We really want to have a relationship with the exchange owner. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
it's Matt. You're right. So we'd rather just be on one good exchange than 5 crappy exchanges.
Unless
Because
any beneficial listeners out there want to bring us get us on Binance or something and pay those fees
Yeah.
that we can't even dream of affording.
We can't. We're too small.
Mm-mm.
Binance. Yeah, yeah. Like get on Coinbase. Someone had mentioned that before. Like Coinbase is only interested in you if you have valid volume. Like we don't have any volume.
Hey
Look at
man, this is a
our
business. This is America. They don't want to. They're not
yeah.
helping you out. They just want your money. Get down.
No,
Get out.
they got to cover those fees to become publicly listed. Isn't Coinbase going to be having their IPO this year?
Yeah, and I'll be investing too because you know it's going
Yeah,
up.
I probably will too. I'll put in $50 or whatever. Maybe it'll be show up in my Robinhood account. Although I stopped using Robinhood with the whole fiasco they had before. I've been dollar cost averaging not with Robinhood but with Swan Bitcoin. So that's kind of my process is
What?
I dollar cost average on daily with swanbitcoin.com, and then the
Swanbitcoin.com.
Bitcoin. Yeah, swanbitcoin.com. I'm telling you, it's better than Coinbase. It manages the taxes for you if you're in the US, really easy to use. And then those dollars, those Bitcoins come in, and then I can just move them right onto Fry Exchange, and I can make my small buys.
Fry.
Fry,
I like
free,
fray because
Fray,
you think of an
Fray
exchange,
Exchange,
you're throwing your coins into the fray.
Fray Exchange. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, then that would be like, well, that's what Kitty Coin Source was saying a minute ago. Isn't that FRAY into the fray?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Although,
Matt, that's a good joke. I'll see if we can fray you. I'm
or
really
free
liking
you.
that's
See, we don't know.
yeah.
Are you saying
Yeah.
you're gonna fry me? I mean, come on.
What does that mean?
I don't
You're
know.
not gonna hurt me, are you? Please don't. So yeah, we've got some yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got
Next,
some
insanity, persistent and
yeah.
ongoing forever.
So we've got a good relationship with that exchange, and they're doing a great job. So yeah. So those are my cool, fun new features in Lynx CI that have kept me up late. And I've been testing out the wazoo, and we had a few small bugs, but I thank the community, those that are going to listen to the recording later too. I know some of you guys were giving me some private feedback on the testing, and I really appreciate that. I implemented, I think, all of the patches that came up, and I think we've got a really stable Lynx CI. And that's important. It kind of goes back to that question that came up a little while ago. I'm not sure exactly who said it, but it might have been Kitty Coin Source, which was I want to create a Lynx CI that makes it really easy for the enthusiast who's got one Raspberry Pi or wants to do it with their brother, sister, or kid, or dad or mom to play on a Raspberry Pi and kind of touch the cryptocurrency space and learn and have that endorphin kick of, oh wow, cool, I won a block, I got a block reward. Yeah, you're not going to go buy a car with it. We all get that, but that's just really fun to know that you participated in a system,
Yeah.
and you can play around in that space, doing stuff, and you can actually see it working on your $35 home computer. That's really cool.
Yes. And all right,
Yeah, there you go,
my flash is done.
Nat. That's super cool, Nat. I love that your niece has one. Yeah. In fact, I really like the idea of.
Yeah,
I was in
that's
Boy
awesome.
Scouts. I was an Eagle Scout, and I got the programming merit badge. I think it was when I was younger. I love the idea of having cryptocurrency, or at least using Lynx CI in scouting in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts too. I think it's just wonderful. All right, so you got the flash done.
Hmm.
Cause, did you put the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi stuff on there?
I'm trying to get my janky card reader to read it. I need to buy a new card reader.
Yeah, Nat, it really is the easiest way. I think so. You don't got to go buy some fancy ASIC.
Uh,
There's no crazy hardware or software expense. And yeah,
it does not seem to be letting me open it back up here in Windows, like to add a file.
so when you pop the card back in, you took the card out. You have to eject it properly, and then you
Right,
pop
yeah.
it back in. It's interesting. I don't know if I've done it on Windows. I've been doing it on Linux, and I've been doing it on Mac. And
Hmm.
yeah, the card shows up on the Mac. The window just opens up, and all you see is the boot drive.
I know.
And
That's why I like Mac, but I'm
yeah,
stuck on Windows for now, and it
yeah,
is not working. So, hey, I'll just have to input my Tipsy ID manually, whatever. That's actually why I created, I believe, let's see. I have so many of these little tags. Look, I can just look them up. Look, you can type in this
there we
tags,
go.
you get all the tags. You know, which one is it? Oh, it was oh, I thought I had one for. Oh no, it's the SSH. That's the one. So that shows you how to set up SSH, one-time login, and then you can at least remote log in from your computer. You don't have to log in with KVM anymore.
Windows, yeah. Raspberry. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, easy peasy.
You, yeah, with the Lynx CI, we set it up the SSH file for you on the drive, but it is locked down for I think the first 3 minutes during the install. So when you pop the SD card into the Raspberry Pi, it prevents you from logging into it during the initial self configuration phase. Because we actually had some friends that were testing it and they were like, "Well, it's not working." I'm like, "Well, what are you doing?" "Well, I just plugged the SD card in and I just logged in." I'm like, "Well, you gotta let it do its thing. It's probably in the middle of the installation. Don't interrupt it. Let it work." "Oh, okay, I guess." "Oh, it just rebooted." "Well, that means it just finished its install, and it'll come back up." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you got to be patient for 3 minutes. I mean, the install doesn't take that long." Yeah, I've done some
Hmm.
playing around with Tails too, and you could do that. I mean, Nat, one of the neat things about Lynx CI is when you pop that SD card into your Raspberry Pi and it's running and it's been mining and it's doing whatever it's doing, you can gracefully power down the Raspberry Pi, shut down -H now as root, and it'll shut down the Raspberry Pi. You could pop out that SD card and pop it into another Raspberry Pi. It's portable. So you could, sometimes I do that with my deployment. I'll go ahead and flash a bunch of SD cards in advance, and I just keep them in my drawer right here. And then when I need to run a test sequence, I just pop one into a Raspberry Pi and turn it on. And I happen to know I have my little cheat sheet here with my IP addresses to my MAC addresses just for my
Nice.
test environment. So I know which one to log into to do the testing. But you could do that. Tails is cool. Recommend reading Edward Snowden's latest book, where he talks about Tails and its value.
Nice. I can see how a guy like that could find a mobile OS or something portable like that quite handy.
All right, so I don't want to go on. I know it's Sunday night. We got families to hang out with, so maybe we give it a few more minutes, unless we chat for a few more minutes. Cause will we wait for your install to finish and restart? I'm anxious. I'm anxious to see if it works out okay.
Yeah, well, I just got it plugged in, and now I'm gonna have to figure out how to plug my keyboard and monitor into it for a second so I can set up my SSH so I can
Right.
watch it.
Well, because you're going to SSH directly into it.
Yeah.
Well, what I would do is, and this is cool that you and I are talking about this because others can learn from it as well. I'm on an AT&T wireless, home internet plan, and so I log into my and I think you probably already know this, but I'm saying this for some other folks too. So in my web browser, I just go to 192.168.1.254, and that gives me access to the router, to my wireless Wi-Fi router,
Yeah.
and that gives me the list of all the IP addresses of all the devices in my home. And so there's my phone, and there's my laptop, and there's my Raspberry Pis. And so you've popped in that SD card cause into your Pi. You've plugged in, let it do its thing. You could go to that 192 address in your browser, and you could probably see it'll show the name of the device, and it'll say Lynx CI with a number behind it that's randomly generated. And so that's your Lynx CI. So then in your Windows, you use PuTTY, or on your Mac or Linux, you just SSH to Lynx at that IP address. And the default password is Lynx, Lynx. It's all lowercase.
Yep.
So you don't have to plug in a keyboard and mouse to the Raspberry Pi if you don't want to. Well, I do too every once in a while, cause just because I'm testing stuff just as well. But SSH is pre-configured and rocking, so you can look up the IP address on your network and access it yourself without having to plug anything into it.
Right on. I am
How do I retip the coins I got from people? Nat says. Cause that's a good question. Don't they automatically show up in my Tipsy wallet and
Hmm.
they become available for immediately for re-raining and tipping to others, right?
Yes, if you type exclamation point, okay, exclamation point is the prefix. You have to type that in front of everything. So I'm just gonna
I'm gonna do it
exclude that from
myself.
saying it all the
Tell
time.
me what to type. Yeah.
BAL for balance, or you can type
Okay.
the word balance if you feel like it. Tipsy will send you a DM, tells you what you've got available. What you can do is you can tip it out by, let's say, if you just want to give someone directly, you can type tip. Let's see.
Exclamation point tip.
So we'll do like tip Natsting 100, and boom, bam, instant. Now it's in your wallet, and you can tip it out to anyone else.
So I could tip activity. Did I do it right? Oop,
Yep,
I didn't do the right format.
and see
Actually, I did.
that's
I
one thing.
didn't tell them how much I wanted to send them.
Yeah, and Tipsy will always tell you that. I try very hard to make sure if you do it wrong, well, you can't go back and edit your command. It's you have to actually
I
put a new
know.
command
I
in.
have the habit. I hit the up arrow. It's just muscle memory. Sorry, activate. You're not gonna get your 100 links. There you go. Now you're gonna get it. So thanks for attending the event today. So there we go.
And
Yeah.
huh, that's that's really
Yeah.
strange.
Whole 6 cents. Don't spend it all in one place.
I screwed up
Every
my
little bit
calculator
counts,
there.
though. It adds up. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to use an
Truth be brother.
exclamation point, not a period.
Uh, yeah.
It's all right. The bots are different in every server. Everyone's got their own. They're all tons of different prefixes.
And I'm just so used to hitting that up arrow that
Nice.
yeah, you can't edit
Now
the
that's what I
thing after it's
call
gone.
investing. Look at that.
There we go.
50%
That's fun.
returns.
That's fun. Yeah. So Nat, when you use your Tipsy miner ID in the Lynx CI, those mining rewards that you're getting go into your wallet here just as well.
Hmm.
And because the way we've set it up, um, you can send. You don't have to wait to spend or to send or do whatever you want to do with those rewards that you got. The normal when you normally win a block with when mining links, it's some. Do you remember what it is? Cause it's in the
It's
white paper.
ridiculous, is what it is, and your
It's some
grandchildren will be
stupid
spending that
long number.
links.
I know it's crazy. It's a really long amount of time that you have to wait before you
Yeah,
can spend it.
but that's the
And
idea.
I
the
don't know.
The
I
ecosystem
don't.
is that when you plug
Yeah.
in your Tipsy ID, instead of using your addresses filled with your 1000 links, rule 1 and 2,
Hmm.
it's using the ones that Logware has. And what it's basically doing is sending your immature little block reward off to the farm to mature,
Right.
so that
That's right.
but then giving you two in place.
It
And
sends it out to pasture to
yeah,
just
basically,
grow.
just go on
It
out
just
there, little
waits
coin.
out there.
You'll be
Yeah. And
useful one day.
in the meantime, what we do is we send you not one, but we send you two to your wallet. Yeah, fatten the calf is exactly
Well,
what it's doing.
what's really sad is if you think about Logware, then you are sending that links off to slaughter because you're going to burn it to store the data.
That's that's in fact that's 100% accurate because that links sits in that pool and it does eventually get used by the Logware system.
Hmm.
So we're losing money. I mean, we're actually paying you guys to do what you do.
Yeah.
So that you're getting that one links that you would have normally got, but we're giving you one more.
This
And we've got that lottery system, and we've got some really generous donors
Well,
that
and
funded.
now that we've built it in to be community funded as well, I hope it continues to, grow a little bit, and that's what I mean, like pay it forward kind of system. Hopefully it's sort of self-incentivizing and keeps going. And,
Yeah,
you know, so
it's I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's like they got this system that just works. It just runs, and
it's yeah,
not really harming the
it's
environment.
just like years
And
of
you don't have
years of planning. It just works.
yeah, I don't have to buy a $9,000 miner that's really just going to be a doorstop 6 months later. It just kind of works.
Hmm.
I love these cat videos with the cat meme with the head bouncing. God, that cracks me up.
Listen, this is why you can't escape the cats. Come on.
I
This is
know,
this is
I
the
know.
heritage of this coin. You don't want to be the meme coin, and we're not a meme. We took our lives seriously. We're the meme coin that turned our shit around.
It's
You know.
true.
But
It's true.
you can't remember where you came from.
We made hard choices. There's a lot of folks said we really want to stick with it. I get private messages from people saying, "Hey, we really, you guys with that kitty coin, that meme, we want to, because they had good fortune with pumping up the Dogecoin, so we want to do it with your project."
Yeah.
I don't know. We kind of want to avoid that. Maybe it's a mistake, but that's what we decided to do. We're gonna kind of avoid that.
It's fine,
I
but
don't
it's
know.
you know,
I haven't looked at the price of Doge lately. Have you?
I haven't actually. I just totally forgot about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I have too. I've
Uh,
been looking at other cool projects.
one of the things though that excuse me, a lot of people don't seem to really get when they're looking at these charts is that you can't compare these coins to their USD value because oh, what's Doge right now? Oh, it's like 5 cents or whatever. Well, that's because Bitcoin is 60,000. Like if it wasn't 60,000, Doge wouldn't be that. But what you should look at is the Doge to Bitcoin ratio. Like only ever value your altcoins in the coins they are alts of. Don't don't go one level deeper to USD. Yeah, exactly. Sats only or
Yep, I'm
lights,
Well,
looking.
whatever, whatever you're
sorry
Yep,
feeling.
guys,
and
I joined in a little late. Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, Stan.
hey Stan, how are you? Yeah,
Good,
you're
good.
good. We're good. Yeah, we're
Uh,
just chatting. I think Stan, you actually know a little bit about this topic, don't you?
which topic?
The
The Doge?
valuation, how we value our coins. Yeah, I'm gonna copy and paste this Doge chart over here because Cause is 100% right there. This is what
Yeah.
he's talking about. That's the valuation of Doge against Bitcoin,
Hmm.
not USD.
Now, the reason that it went so crazy though is they did have that exponential spike of it being valued more versus Bitcoin and Bitcoin going up at the same time, plus Elon Musk.
Well, yeah. That guy is a little bit insane, but in a good way, I guess, for humanity.
Yeah, I think so too. So we've got. Thanks for joining us, Sam. Unfortunately, it's like at the tail end here. I think we talked about the 3 features on Lynx CI, the new features on Lynx CI. Cause is doing a dry run, no pressure, to see if his SD card gets flashed and spins up and is actually mining in the 15. What do you say? 15 minutes for your Pi.
Oh yeah.
And is it a Pi 4 that you got?
No, it's a
Cause?
Pi 3, so we're gonna
Oh,
really,
it's gonna
really.
take longer than 15 minutes,
Yeah.
but that's
Well.
okay. Yeah, well, you could still log into it after it reboots, and
But you're doing it in real time, right?
he's doing it in real time. Yeah, no pressure.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going. I'm trying to get trying to get visual access to it.
yeah. So we were experimenting with that, and I was going over some of the cool new features. One of the neat things that I'm also working on right now, we've got a few friends of the Lynx project, and one of them is, well, I don't want to reveal too much information, but he's outside the U.S. and he's down under. And so what we're working on is a mobile Lynx mining rig. And boy, this thing is going to be slick. So we've got a specification. I've got the specs here in front of me, and I've done the spreadsheet with the pricing. And we're going to move ahead with a proof of concept for it. We're building out a Pelican case. You guys know the Pelican cases. It's this really hardcore, waterproof, impact proof, dust proof, seal cases that you see in military. You might put your pistol in it, or your maybe some other something that you need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
lock. Yeah, right. And so what we're doing is with the foam that's inside of this Pelican case, we're able to take the foam out in a certain way and cut it in a certain way, where we can take these Raspberry Pi enclosures that I have. You guys have seen the pictures. I'll post one in a few minutes. There's 6 Pis in each enclosure. We're getting 6 enclosures in one case. And the case contains all of the accessories that the Pi needs to run. So there's the USB hub, all of the cables, the SD cards. Even it comes with a single Phillips head screwdriver, so you can pop apart the enclosures for maintenance services if you ever need to do anything. So everything's all encompassed within this shockproof, dustproof, waterproof case. And so the person that I was chatting with down under, he says basically he moves a lot, and he's wealthy, and so he basically lives in Airbnbs and travels between New Zealand and Australia. And he's like, I basically got free Wi-Fi and I've basically got free power while I'm there. I really want to support the project. How can I get engaged? I'm like, well, I'm going to build you this mobile mining rig. And so when you get to your destination, you're going to take out the 6 enclosures. There's all the cables. You're going to plug it in. You don't have to do anything with your SD cards because it's so easy to flash an SD card. And you're just going to plug it in, and you update the Wi-Fi feed credentials with this little script that we just talked about a little while ago. And now you've got this mobile rig. And then when it's time to go, you quite literally just unplug it from the wall, unplug all the cables, stick it back inside this dust-proof case, and off you go. So what's going to happen is, and you guys are going to notice this, some strange handle is probably going to show up in the Tipsy. What's the name of the friggin' channel? Tipsy Mining Logs. There it is. I keep going into the international and the deprecated channels. And what's going to happen is we're going to start seeing this new name pop up that's winning all these blocks. And this kind of touches on that topic that came up a little while ago. What about, one miner that's scoring lots of blocks? Remember, they're individual nodes. They're not talking to each other. There's no security risk. He's just volunteering a lot of free electricity and free Wi-Fi and doing his thing. And he's getting those rewards. So that's great. So we're going to see that person pop up. And we're going to be building out more than one of these things. So we're going to see these 36 node mobile mining rigs starting to pop up globally. We're going to have one in New Zealand, we're going to have one in Uruguay, and we're going to have one in North Carolina in the US for starters. So once we get that built out and sent out, I'll take some photos and we'll put it in one of the mining channels or the Lynx Raspberry Pi channel, and you guys can start to see what that looks like. So that'll be kind of fun.
Ben, did Michael, would he be interested in having one? Because he travels too, and he can just plug it into the hotel outlet and basically get free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so for our other listeners, we've got Stan and I have a mutual friend, and that use case is perfect. Yeah, so I think he probably would.
Dude, you need to get yourself one of those silver bulletproof briefcases with the handcuff on it, and that's what you build these in. I want one like that.
Yeah, well, you can put, I don't know if these things are bulletproof, but you can definitely put a lock on them, so they are relatively tamper-proof. Yeah, I just makes me wonder, at least in the U.S., what's airport security? I don't have the highest respect for, so unfortunately. So I just wonder what airport security is going to do when they see you try to go through and that device gets scanned, because man, it's cool. It looks like something straight out of Mission Impossible. But if you don't know what you're looking at, I can understand why you might get a little bit scared, because it's kind of scary. It's kind of spooky looking. But once you understand what it is,
just call it the rabbit's foot.
That just that is, what is this? What do you got here, sir? That's a rabbit's foot.
It's a lynx foot. Right.
Sir, I need you to come with me. Oh man, Ben got zapped again at the airport.
Well, again. You know what? What's the most powerful RPI that is in existence?
Nat, that's a good idea.
The most powerful Pi?
No, RPI. Yeah. I mean Raspberry Pi. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's the 8 gig Raspberry Pi 4. I think it's an 8 gig RAM.
Because one other idea that I had was to create one of those retro gaming rigs that also mines Lynx.
Oh yeah, that would be neat.
Because people play a lot of retro games on these, and I'm not sure how much processing power it uses, but I think for the most powerful Pi, it probably wouldn't be a problem to handle in the background.
I think we had a discussion somewhere in one of these channels. I remember talking to somebody about that. I don't know. I also said I didn't know what the RetroPie is the name of that app.
So weird that you guys mentioned this, because I just installed RetroPie on one of my. I've got a couple of Raspberry Pis that are partially damaged from testing.
RetroPie does name.
What's that?
Sorry, I was responding to Nat. Sorry, excuse me. RetroPie does the MAME cabinet, stuff.
I've got it installed on a few Pis that I've partially damaged. I've actually blown out a few of the cores, so they're not really good for mining anymore. But I installed RetroPie on it, and I'm starting to experiment with it. So far, it's really cool.
Nice. Yeah,
there's 2 of them, I think.
I love
the Pi Imager offers.
You can take it around. It's like What's that in your
Mhm.
pocket? Oh, every video game system ever.
Ever made. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's really cool. When you come over to my house, free coffee. Okay. Sounds good. I'm in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Dogecoin is at 5 cents,
Oh
so
my God.
we missed out on that
You know,
boat.
I
Too
saw
bad for
somebody
us.
put a Pi into a Game Boy case, and then it's had the screen built in and everything, so like a Game Boy Color. So they had
Oh, right.
they had the retro Pi like right in there with the little Game Boy screen. It was amazing.
Yeah, free candy.
Well, I was thinking about that because now it looks like you can throttle based on some kind of temperature algorithm, right? So you
Right, that
can
was one
set,
of our features, Stan. You missed out on that one. It's the auto tuning based
yes,
on the temperature within the Lynx CI. So it detects the temperature
Lynx.
every yeah, every hour. It does a scan and it checks the temperature every second for 5 minutes, and it grabs the average temperature. And based on that, a little algorithm runs, and you can check my business logic in the repo. It's all open source, and it increases the mining speed of the built-in miner, and it restarts Lynx to activate it and use it. And it does that over and over again, depending on how hot or how cold the CPU is. And so it auto tunes itself. You never have to adjust or jigger the CPU setting inside a Lynx CI. Pretty neat.
that's great.
And
And
even
a lot of the CPU miners were missing that, which was, overheating the equipment and, damaging the cores, etc.
So I'll be honest, I'm not sure
yeah,
I don't think my flash worked. I'm just getting like a gray screen when I plug in an HDMI cord. And I don't see any kind of like light blinking activity. It's just solid red. What say you?
it's like is the card inserted properly? Is the power on? Have you rebooted your computer?
Red light equals
Um,
power on, and you can only put these cards in one way easily, otherwise you're
Not
fucked.
true. If you've got a couple cocktails in you, it's possible to mash that card in improperly. I know. I heard somebody did it once. It wasn't me. Definitely
Uh,
wasn't me.
asking for a friend,
Uh
are you?
huh. Yeah, asking for a friend. That's exactly it. But it is possible to mash it in there. I've
Right.
also had the contacts fall out of line. So if you put the card in, I had one in the past where the SD card didn't line up perfectly. It's weird, and like it's in there, but it would turn on. It would do all sorts of weird things. I think it was like these old black and white TV shows came on, and it was just this weird thing. It was like a Twilight Zone episode, and so I popped the card out and like reseated it again, and it was fine. Yeah. So weird things can happen, cause.
Yeah.
And also don't drink too many cocktails and watch Twilight Zones too late at night. By the way, 2600, I learned a lot of my hacking skills from 2600 when I was younger. One of my buddies was an editor, and I used to go to, what was the bookstore? I used to go to the bookstore, I think it was monthly or it used to be every other month, I think, something like that. And I used to get the issues and collect them. And I loved 2600. That was the best magazine. Oh, what's this? A fun fact. If you put the floppy in upside down, the game would play back. Nice. I can't believe I read that out loud, Nat. Fooled me.
Oh,
Got it.
wait, he there's an edit. There was a stipulation.
On Karateka, the game would play backwards. Oh, that's cool.
That's interesting.
That's cool. Little Easter egg. I like it. All right, so I think I've covered cause. I think we don't go on too much later tonight. We let everybody get back to their families. Thanks
Yeah.
for attending the event tonight. Cause, you got any other ideas or notes that you wanted to share from
It's
our briefing tonight?
my radio command is working now, so as you can see, it only rains on those who are actually listening.
Is there can I add to the radio drop? How can I donate to it?
Just type radio. It's just a rain. It's like type rain except radio.
Okay,
It's
I'm
easy.
overthinking it.
You are.
Just type radio.
Just type
Yeah,
radio
dude,
and
you know me pretty
radio
well.
1 million. It's so easy. Just type that. You'll be
Oh,
fine.
so how many zeros? Should I add more zeros to it?
If I wanted to be really mean, I could just tell
I'll
you to
just
type radio all.
Very,
I type
very,
commas.
very clever.
if I just add commas
Thank
to
you.
it, will those help out as well? There, I'm going to type there. I just rained a
I
bunch
should
of
have it ignore
coins
commas.
on
That's a
you
good
guys.
idea.
God, you're
Well,
stupid.
one thing in terms of investing, I can tell you that I've picked up that a few people who invest in a mid cap, which is a little bit kind of more, towards the higher end, and Lynx is now in the mid cap index. They're starting to
Really?
pick up Lynx. So some of that is,
Cool.
the fact that Lynx advanced up into the mid cap, and it's attracting, it's not a ton, probably 15, 20 people, but it's on regular basis.
Well, on the 15th, Stan, we had 28 cents worth of trading volume on the exchange. So that was a big day for us. That's not that really counts towards the mid cap, but we'll take it.
What did you say our
Oh,
trading
wait,
volume was?
we had on the 15th,
Yeah.
with the report you just put up on the screen. On the 14th, there was,
Oh man,
no,
before
that's not
this
true. I misread it.
we had someone who came in and dropped like 70 grand.
Yeah, we did.
That was
We
wild.
seem to have some enthusiasts who understand what we're up to and are making some
Yeah.
big plays.
Well,
So
and there's
that's
going to be a
exciting.
lot of people who
Yeah.
are foolishly selling at 1 Satoshi as well. Like I get it. You came in a kitty coin and sure it's worth a lot more now, but
Yeah,
oh
I
my
get it
God,
too.
we've just
I
started.
get it.
Hang on.
Yeah, I get it. Different folks, different strokes. I understand.
Whatever,
But
yeah.
yeah, I misread the chart. Where there actually is a fair bit of trading volume on some of these days that's listed. So yeah, Stan, it's exciting to see how the project has gone. When we started this project, it had a market cap of, I believe, just over $2,000, which is
What?
pretty bonkers.
I,
Yeah.
I remember I remember we were working on getting the second exchange on Zapple, and then
Uh-huh.
the third exchange on NLX. Remember that one?
Nope.
I think so.
Back
Yeah.
2 summers ago, and it's come a long way since then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were just talking, and we got a good partner with Frey Exchange so far. So we've been happy with them. I think if that keeps
Freud.
going, we'll be happy for a while.
Frau.
Cryptopia
Frau
I'm
Exchange.
curious, Nat, did you lose any coins or
Oh
did your
God.
coins get locked up on Nat
Let's not talk
Exchange? I
about.
know Carl's
Hang on.
did.
Can here's another command I like in Tipsy. You can see how
Uh-uh.
much things are worth that you lost.
Really? That's great.
Let's see how much my
Oh, that's
250 million lost links on Cryptopia are worth right now. That's a
oh man, I'm
sad
so
day.
sorry. Yeah, but we have well, think of it this way. There's no liquidity on our exchanges right now, so it's not like you could sell them right now
I
anyways.
know.
So,
I'm just
you know,
teasing.
maybe give it some time. It'll happen eventually. Yeah. Sorry about that, man. I did get a feedback from Cryptopia though, from the attorneys. They figured out which account was mine. So I think
It
my
was
10 million links, I can get access to them maybe.
Nat back on
If I'm lucky.
Cryptopia. We were in the Litecoin market. That was 7 lights, not 7 sats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah. Remember those days?
Oh, I
Those are long
remember.
gone.
I
Yeah.
remember when someone dumped on Altilli for like 5 Latoshis one day.
And
I think I
And
got some of
I
those.
think I
I
got a
had
lot of
some,
those too.
yeah, I had a few Hail Mary buy orders on there. Like, no one's gonna sell at 5 lats. So just
Someone
why
just
bother? No,
decided they
I'm
were
gonna do it.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Why
isn't that
not?
a
Just
fun
go for it.
command?
Yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah. Well, here's my
I
other.
really hope that the Cryptopia stuff works out though.
If you ever want to see what one penny, how many links is worth a single penny, there you go.
Okay.
I have a lot of goofy little
Well,
commands like that just for fun. Yeah.
those are
Oh,
those, those are
I
fun.
should do that. You're right. Why didn't I do, why didn't I make a dollar? I'll do nickel, dime, quarter dollar. Why not?
Good. Yeah.
You can, yeah,
All right.
sure.
So, are there any other? Because I don't want to get too late tonight. Are there any other questions amongst? Hey, Christy. Are there any other questions amongst the group that if you don't want to speak, you don't have to. You can write them in. Since you got access to Cause and I can address a question or concern or even a feature request. If you got a crazy wild hair and you've got something that you want to see in Lynx CI that you're dying for,
An
I
Android
can add
phone
it to
miner
mine.
because Nat has a ton of old phones, and frankly, so
Yeah.
do I.
I know. I don't have an Android phone miner solution right now. I'm not sure it's going to be at the top of the priority list. Sorry, guys. You have 200 old phones?
Are you a hoarder?
Well, I can see why they could be left over from a project, or maybe from.
What project
So,
needs 200 phones?
sell them on
Maybe
a
he's a tester.
shopping.
Maybe he's a.
Okay. Sell them on a shopping platform.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't think that mining on the phone is probably going to be a way for us. Although I did spend a fair amount of time working on a Nintendo Switch port for the Lynx D miner. So that was some research that I spent some time on, having your Switch sitting in the dock when you're not playing it, mining using the processor on board, which is actually pretty powerful. All the hardware requirements are met, and you got the wireless, the network is there as well. And so that's something that we put some research into. But in order to really get it built out right, we'd need to hire a game studio that would port over the C++ code. And it can be done, but it's not going to be cheap. So that's when I kind of stopped researching it. I realized that probably paying to get us in Ledger would be a better use of money first.
Yeah.
26,000 masks donated. That's great, Matt. Somewhere with all the articles written. So yeah, recently I've been posting more articles or ideas on the Medium website, because it kind of gives us exposure to a broader audience that may not be visiting the FAQ section on the website. The other part is I'm working with and chatting with someone that's working on a new Lynx website. So that's in the works. And my thought process was, I'm just not going to spend too much more time writing new content on the Lynx website, knowing that it's just going to get rebuilt. Yeah, those FAQs and some of those blog posts will get ported over, or that's the goal. But I figured posting on Medium would give us access to a broader audience. Thanks, Payton. Talk to you later.
Later, man.
With the Switch, why not go to the manufacturer and try to get them to put it in their code? Yeah, the reason, Nat, I didn't want to go to the manufacturer is because it's of zero interest to them. I mean, the community of Lynx enthusiasts, those of us out there, are so small. It doesn't really represent an audience for them. And we just don't have access to the right people. So I think what it comes down to is just finding the right gaming studio that would be interested in a contract to build it out. They could probably pull it off. Yeah. Trying is not failing. I totally agree with that. All right. So unless there's hey, if you need me to get on a conference call with you as well, just DM me and let me know so I can schedule it, and I'm there to work with you. So if you have colleagues in your network in the gaming industry, specifically for the Nintendo Switch, let me know, and I'd love to get into a technical conversation.
You
and
didn't
go
tell
through
me
those
this.
specs.
I'm doing VR with gaming developers all the time. What?
On the Nintendo Switch?
Well, I'm sure I could narrow a field down. I could throw some lines out and see what I get.
Well, no, there we go. That's all. It's an idea that hasn't been around for very long, so it's not like you really missed out.
Yeah.
Still relatively.
There's too much going on. I can't keep up with everything.
We also haven't had noodles in a while, dude. So it's been tough.
That's true.
Yeah, it's tough. All right. So if there's any other questions, I'll go ahead and round them up. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I really appreciate everybody being here for the Live Lynx Q&A chat. For the record, it's March 28th, 2021. And Kilo, it was nice having you along. So thanks for the questions and the comments that came up. I really appreciate it. I think what we'll do is listen for suggestions on the general channel for when we should have the time slot, cause you and I can finalize it, I guess, when we should have the time slot for the next one. And we can schedule it in a week or 2 weeks from now, maybe not too often, but when we have real news to share. And we'll go ahead and try to schedule a time slot that's a little bit more friendly to our European friends. So Anything else, calls you want to add in at the last minute? Stan, you can say something if you want to.
Just dropping a bunch of links all over the community and then tipping Payton the same amount as everyone else got because he just left, and that's not fair.
Yeah, Payton needs a few. He's new to the project, so that's great.
Well, he just got a few.
Thank you. Thank you for a great call. Sorry for being a little bit late, but I had something right before this, so I couldn't hop off and jump right over. But it's been a pleasure, and I'll support whatever I can do to amplify this. So Twitter and Discord and other ways to amplify it. I'll be happy to do it.
All of the above.
Well, I don't. I obviously I don't know the full context of it, but to let others know without giving away too much information. But Stan is in the healthcare industry and a first responder, and so he helps. I don't know if we call Stan a first responder, but he's definitely helping out people and closely connected to what's going on with COVID. So we appreciate any time that you can give us, Stan, being away from your job, which I know stresses you and taxes you, and so it's nice having you here when you can be here. Yeah. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Same here.
Yeah. And I'll follow up with Michael later about our Lynx mobile mining rig. Once I get a picture of the first one done, I'll share the specs and the spreadsheet and the data for it. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. That puts us just shy of 2 hours, which I think is probably all right for length of time on this thing. And I appreciate everybody. I'm going to go ahead and hop off the call. Again, if you want to stick around on Discord and maybe up for a little while, I can field a few questions on chat. Otherwise, appreciate you guys, and I'm chat with you soon. I'll see you around.
Later, man.